Just messing around. It's okay. I'm gonna wait for some people to get in here before I go and get into it. So right now I'm just gonna wait patiently. So this is ironically happening right around the time of something really bad with a girl. So this is actually perfect timing. Actually, no, it's not. It's probably like the worst timing possible. But I'm doing it anyway because I have commitments and I'm not gonna break them. I don't break commitments. So we're gonna wait for people to get in here a little bit because that's what we need to do. There's only one person here. That just won't do. My brightness is so far down. I can't. Oh Lord, there it is. Whoop. Oh Lord, please. I was able to balance it one time, and that's it. What's up, Mancake Gaming? I'm happy to see you again. It's like you're only able to balance my phone one time, and then that's it. And if it falls, it falls. I never see it again. Hello. We're waiting for people to get in here before I explain the lore of how to get people to like you. Ugh. In advance, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm not sure if this will work on men that much, but this isn't scripted or anything. I'm just gonna say what I think is the truth, and if that doesn't work, then well, I did what I could. I might as well go and get into it. If there's any questions that are asked, feel free to ask questions. I'm really willing to. So let's go ahead and start off with the first point. So there's no definite way that works every time with women. Okay, there's not. There's really not. Um, because I mean everyone's different. What are you gonna do? You're not gonna just use the same tactic on every woman because it's not gonna work for every woman. Some women might like other things, some don't. You know. So first thing, never expect there to be any direct way, okay, of being able to get women to be attracted to you because it's not gonna happen guaranteed. It's not it just won't. It can't, it won't. Okay, there's no guaranteed chance. But this is advice, not factual evidence, okay? This is just advice. I've had a lot of fair relationships over the years. That's a lie. A lot of them really sucked. A lot of them did, trust me. Um but one thing that I have been told to stay true to is, yes, it's called the just kidding riz. Oh Lord. Um you don't ever want to be someone you're not for a person. That's obviously one of the easiest things to do. Well, I don't want to say the easiest things to do, but it's one of the easiest things to understand. You can't be someone else for that person because if you are, then they're like then they if they fall for you because you're that person, they fell for that person that's not you. So when the time comes for you to actually be you, you're not going to be the person they fell in love with. And that's just how it is. That's how it is. You can't be like that. Um and I think I think that's one of the main problems is a lot of people just they think that that's gonna happen. They think that no matter what, either way, it's just gonna this is just gonna work out for me instantly. If I just fake it till I make it. That's not how that works. Especially with relationships, that's not how that works. So don't ever lose yourself. Second thing is as much as it is hard to, especially for my generation and the one after mine, Alpha, I think it is. Nice hoodie, by the way. Thank you, I appreciate that. As hard as it is, okay, really, truly, as hard as it is, especially for people in our generation, do not ever, okay, use a pickup line. If you use a pickup line, I will come to you. Okay, I will come to you and I will slap you because no. don't use a pickup line. For God's sakes, don't use a pickup line. Now, you would think that's actually pretty relatively easy advice. You know how many times I've heard people in my school or literally anywhere else just say, "Are you a diamond pickaxe? Cause I'm harder than obsidian." Like random stuff like that. Like no, don't use a pickup line. Never use a pickup line. Please don't. For your safety and the person that you're trying to be with, don't ever use a pickup line. Please don't. Please don't. I emphasize that greatly because it's terrible. It's terrible. Don't ever do it. Another thing is you, as hard as it is, you want to have a nice balance between being assertive, and I don't mean in that weird way. Okay, you want to have a nice balance between being assertive and being a gentleman. I was gonna need another I can't. I don't even. No, no. Um, never. You want to have a nice balance between being assertive and being a gentleman. If you are too much of either, it's not going to work out. If you're too much of a gentleman, there is something being okay. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And that's how it is. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Anything, okay? Too much money leads to greed. Too much tree life leads to homelessness. Too many books leads to loneliness. You know, I'm not. Oh God. Um, there's a lot of things that are perfect examples of too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and being too nice of a person can actually end up getting yourself a lot more hurt than you should be. I'm not saying be a jerk, but you know, just taking your shot, being the assertive side, just taking your shot and going for it is sometimes better than hiding and waiting. And that's something I can relate to. Is sometimes going out saying it is better than hiding and waiting. As hard as it may be. Now, for some of you, easiest thing in the world to go walk right up and just say, "I like you. We should go out sometime." For others, maybe it's not. Maybe you. What I'm trying to say is, if you're too much of a gentleman, you're gonna get yourself hurt. And if you're too much of an assertive person, then no woman's gonna want to be with you. Well, like the 5% of the world that wants that, sure. Um, Another thing that's kind of important to learn that it actually took me a long time to learn as well. The first person that will tell you the words "I love you" is oftentimes the person that you will not spend your life with. And that is a fact that can hurt. It can. Relationships do hurt. When you have to break up with someone, it does hurt. It can hurt. And sometimes just getting through it is the hardest part. Okay. Yes, the initial burst, okay? I can't even think of any words. But the initial reaction to, a girl breaking up with you or for some reason could be it will hurt. And I'll be honest, especially recently, something with me happened similarly. And man, yesterday night was rough. Uh so I am just fine. But I did go through something bad recently. But ironically, this is happening at the same time. So, I appreciate the caring though. I really do appreciate that. Um But what I'm trying to do here, honestly, is just help other people not make the same mistakes that I have. Hello, everyone that said hey, by the way. I have not been responding, but I can see you guys texting, so thank you guys. Um, I'm trying to make sure that people don't make the same mistakes. I've been learning from mine recently, and I feel like that it's time that I try actually doing some good with that. I try helping other people. I don't want to just I don't want to live in my shame. I don't want to live in my sorrow. I don't want to be like that. That's not what I want to be. As depressed as I am, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to just live with that and then have nothing else. I need to take that and turn it into something better for someone else because that would end up helping them. Yes. Does it hurt? Of course, it always will. But the more that you try sometimes, the more that can change. And let me go ahead and give my advice on here. If you want to get women to like you, it really does depend on the type of person. There is no, I will say it again, there is no guaranteed way to get every girl to like you because everyone is different. That is how life is. Everyone is different. There are always going to be women who treat you like crap because they want to or because they want to take advantage of you. And you know what? Live with it. Just move past it. Realize what I had to do is I had to realize that every single time that a relationship would go awry, I would have to find out what happened, what mistake did I make, where did this go wrong, what happened, what kind of person was this, should I stay away? I don't, and yes, for everyone that's asking, I am perfectly fine. I am okay. I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. Okay. Um, Here's the thing. Every relationship that's ever gone awry for me, you have to learn from your mistakes. Never I don't now this is a personal opinion. I don't have a type, but I do have certain people that I stay away from. And God and God is, a big factor in my life when it comes to that kind of a thing. And I am a Christian, so it's another thing. Um and sometimes sometimes you just have to look at what was wrong with that person or what was even wrong with you. Sometimes you may have done something wrong, but you have to realize what went wrong, how to fix it, and how you can do better next time. You don't let yourself waste away because of something that happened. You don't ruin your life. Don't throw your life away just because of a girl. Don't. A friend of mine made a mistake with that a while ago. Girl broke up with him and went to date his best friend, and I haven't talked to him since. And it's not because I don't want to. I just he got so depressed. I'm not even sure how he's doing, but he has not talked to me in a while. And I don't want people to have to go through that because they shouldn't have to. No one should have to go through something like that, but it's still going to happen anyway. Yeah. Uh yes. Um he's very right. Um Sometimes women do like to play a practical joke on you. Sometimes they take advantage of you. Sometimes they lead you on. It happens a lot. It really does. There's not a lot we can do about it because it's not as the guys, it's not our we can't fix it. That's how they are. That's what they are. That's what they want to be. That's who they are. we can't always blame ourselves. Now, if we did do something wrong, if you did do something wrong, take note of that and figure out what you can do next time to make it better. But if you didn't, if you really did not do anything wrong and it was the other person, avoid that type of person next time. The very first person that I ever dated, led me on for around 2 months. She said she loved me, all the things like that. I didn't even like her. I didn't have my first crush until around a year ago. Um, but I didn't like her, but I liked that anyway. We're still friends. And so I was like, okay, why not? I'll give him a chance. See what happens. Who knows? I don't know how you are in a relationship. Let's see how it goes. And that's not a bad thing to do. Always keep yourself open for opportunities like that. So I dated her for around 3 months. It was okay. Um, Asked her to the school dance, and it was fine. It was perfectly fine. Everything was there. I bought her ticket. Me and her went. Yada yada. Except we didn't go. Well, we did. She would be there, and I would be showing up to meet her pretty around that time. And she was already inside, and so I walked inside after giving them my ticket. And I have a rose behind my back, and I'm dressed up. I look nice. Okay, I look really nice. I'm dressed up. I have like a rose behind my back or something just to surprise her and make her feel happy. And as I'm about to walk up to her, kid you not, I swear, my friends and I make fun of how much my life seems like a movie, not just because of this, but for other things. Guy walks up, probably a junior or senior, I think it was a senior, and they straight up make out in front of me. I was like, oh, okay. I dropped the rose in the trash and just left. That hurt. I didn't care as much, but I did go home that night and watch Deadpool 2 to cure my depression. um, but sometimes people are just like that. Sometimes people are just like that. They see a person that they think they can take advantage of. They take advantage of them, and there's not really much you can do about that. There never is much you can do. The only thing you can do is avoid those types of people. There are certain types of people I am avoiding now. I know to avoid this type, that type, just avoid them to make sure that I don't make the same mistake I did last time or the time before that. Keeping yourself in the right state of mind is hard, especially for guys, because mentally we do have it hard sometimes. A lot. Because as this generation has so distinctly said, we are not supposed to have emotions, and I hate that. I don't like that line of thinking. I am currently on antidepressant meds. I am. Go ahead and say it. I am. Guilty. I don't like being on them, and eventually I do want to come off of them. I don't want to be on them for the rest of my life. Eventually I do want to come off them. But there's something that the depression meds do that is a side effect that I don't like at all, and it's one of the worst things ever. The antidepressant meds can have a side effect for some people, for a lot of people actually, because it was my mother too. It's something called emotionally blunting. Emotion blunting, and it means basically that it's very hard for me to cry. Even when I normally would, it's very hard for me to cry. And other emotions end up coming out in place of that. And sometimes that's a terrible thing. I don't want anger to come out instead of sadness, but then it does. Or fear or joy or anything, just it randomly happens. You don't want to have to be like that. And having a woman do something bad to you would only make it worse. So if you want to, you have got to keep you've got to keep up yourself. And that's not a selfish thing to do. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. And that's something that I struggled with learning for a while, because for a long time, I never gave one crap about myself, but then I would go out and try helping everyone else at the expense of my own exhaustion in life. And as nice as that is, eh, it'll kill you. It really will. There's a lot. It will hurt you. Girls, what happened to learning how to some girls? Girls, girls. I think that sometimes we as guys do try putting too much pressure on ourselves. Maybe we don't have to though. One of the best things I learned, one of the best things that I've ever learned is that even if someone isn't the right for you, you will always have another. There will always be another. Always. There never won't be. There are 8 billion people on this earth. Half of them half of them are women. And I don't like saying this, but there are plenty of fish in the sea. There is always someone out there. Now, even if you don't think there is, there is. There really, really is. And as much as I'm struggling with believing that, there is. A very close friend of mine told me that, and I will never forget it because it's true. There is always someone else out there. Maybe, just maybe you're not meant to be with anyone. Maybe you just don't have it in you to keep up a relationship, or just maybe you're just not the kind of person with dating. That's fine. But loneliness is never something that anyone wants. And I feel like that one of the main problems is that we are forced to keep up an act, to be something that we don't want to be, to be something that we don't want to. I just repeated the same thing twice. To be someone we don't want to be. And the question I have to ask myself, and ask yourself this as well: why? Why do I want someone to like? Why do I want to be with someone? Do I want them for those purposes? Do I want them for a family? Because I'm bored? What do you want? And that can change a lot with the kind of people you date. If you want someone just for those purposes, you're going to end up dating someone very different than a person if you wanted them for a family. That's just how life works. Those two don't balance out very well. If you want to have women like you, don't lose yourself. If women can't like you for you, then they're not for you. They don't deserve to be with someone like you. I honestly do think sometimes that the universe does have it out for me. A lot. Sometimes I do believe that. Sometimes I think the universe is out to kill me because they seems to be doing great at that. However, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's what really counts is being able to take care of yourself. And I'm going to say the same thing that I've said for about 4 years now. I have, especially today, I talked to someone about a college in the future, and I have my future set in motion. I'm getting it ready. My grades are great. Um, ACT scores are kept up. Got the college I want to go to. Got to just apply now. Here in the next year, and then that's it. Then sometimes that's just it. But I don't want to be alone. I don't want to just go through that. As much as I want to be an actor, which in case you didn't know that, an actor, I don't want to act alone. You know, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to not have a family. Okay, I want someone to share those things with, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are in relationships for the right reason do want that kind of a thing. They want a family. A, you know, they want to continue their bloodline. It's hard for some people to want that. To answer your question, CK, no, I do not. I don't. I am 16, turning 17 eventually, soon. We'll see. It depends. But that is hard. It is hard. It is hard to have to deal with those kinds of things. And yeah, someone you made a good point there. The world is pretty crappy. It's not just the people that are in it. I mean, even though that makes up a great portion of why the world's crappy. Um, Actually, no, that's probably the only reason why the world's crappy. People, people suck. People do. There is no changing that, especially nowadays. Things only get worse. As much as hard as it is to deal with women, as hard as it can be. I'm not just going to go on the stream and I'm not dissing women. I'm not dissing women. So I need to make a counterpoint. What about men? What can we do? How do we make ourselves better? Be kind, caring, and don't want and you don't need them. You don't need them to have to love some other side of you that doesn't exist. That's what hurts the most. Is not being able to create a fake side of you. I mean, it's true. Both genders have their own problem. They really do. I tell you what, every day I go to school, I look at some of the kids in my school, and I'm just like, I can't believe I am the same age as these idiots. It's hard, especially nowadays, to find someone in the dust for both men and women. That's not just a one-sided thing. That's both men and women. Both men and women can suck in their own ways. But as a guy, it's easier to see the faults in the men. But that's why we have to make ourselves better. We do have to make ourselves better. Because if we don't, you know what happens if we don't make ourselves better? We end up just putting ourselves and our children into a future of just. It just gets worse. It only gets worse from there. I mean, listen. You can't think about watch a movie from the 90s that has some kind of a relationship thing or whatever. You know, you go, you see them and they have a relationship or whatever, and it's a high school relationship kind of thing. Do you see how different everyone is? And I know it's a movie, but like, just bear with me here. That's how people were. I even asked my parents. People were, yeah. Oh wow, so much better. As time went on, people got worse. They do. It seems a little bit more in every generation. It seems a little bit more of the percentage of people don't care about the people afterwards. And I listen. As much as I talk terribly about Generation Alpha. As much as I talk bad about them, they are a misguided generation. However, the parents decide how their children are raised. The fact that these children were raised with iPads in their hands from the time they were like 2 years old is not their fault. They were given this, they used it. My cousins are below the ages of 10. One of them is 6, one of them is 8. I think. Not sure how long it's been since I've seen them. When they were around 2 years old, they were able to fully operate a phone on their own. And I was like completely blown away that a 2-year-old could use a phone better than a 61-year-old could. And that's concerning. We all have to get what Gen Alpha when growing up. We'll watch future generations and say, what are they into? Agreed. And as much as I don't like Gen Alpha for their content, for what they watch, for their strange language, then again, every generation dislikes the next for some reason or another. But the thing is that Generation Alpha is the first time that we've had a digital age. Yes, we had a digital age, but the thing is that our parents, I won't say most of them, but a lot of our parents weren't complete idiots and not letting us watch things. We had movies and not. But I'm saying is growing up on those as fun as it is? No, especially when you have something like Skibidi Toilet. God, no. You want to know how old I feel? I asked a friend of mine, best friend of mine, he's 13 years old, if he knew what a Toys R Us was, and he said, "What in the world is that?" And I just sat there like, we're all gonna die. This generation, this world's doomed. I was completely blown away. My sister is 31 years old. She has 2 kids. One of them is 4 years old. He already knows how to use TikTok and doesn't watch anything other than short videos. And that is the problem. As people got worse and worse as time went on, that's the problem. How would you react if there was a nice furry in your chat? I'm not sure. You're a nice person. That's how it is. I don't judge people. Listen, I don't judge people for their choices. As long as their choices don't affect me, I'm okay with it. If you want to, hey, do what you want to do. I'll watch and cheer you on, but don't force it on me. That's all I ask. I know that's all I've ever asked. But anyway, back to the women's subject because we kind of trailed off there. Find someone that you actually want to be with. For someone for you to find someone that is worth your time, that they're worth your time. It's hard to find someone like that. But you know what? It does eventually happen. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know a lot of people who want their high school sweetheart to be the person that they end up marrying. And you know what? It happens. It really does. High school sweethearts are a very real thing. They happen. But not as often as everyone makes them out to be. And that is something that people in my generation especially, that we think are, oh yeah, this is going to happen. I'm going to date a person in senior year and end up marrying them. No, you might not. You might not. The average age for proposal, okay, get ready for this. The average age for proposal in the United States, I think, was around 24. 25. I don't know, somewhere around that. Somewhere around the mid to late 20s. That's wild to me because they never proposed directly out of high school. They never got married directly out of high school. They just waited, or they just didn't find the right person until that time. And you know what? That's honestly where it happens. Having a high school sweetheart can be a great thing. It really can. But it's not out for everyone. Trust me. The point is as hard as it is, sometimes to go through a breakup, or for women, or to understand why women don't like you or why they do. In the end, it doesn't matter, because as long as you are as long as you are okay, as long as you are mentally okay. I don't know why I was pointing down here, but if as long as you're mentally okay, you'll find the right person. As a dear friend of mine once said, you will often find the person that you want to be with when you're not looking. And when you're not looking is when you're focusing on yourself. Then they'll show up in your life and you'll be blown away. That's how it turned out for her. That's how it turned out for a lot of my friends. And I think it's very true. When you're not looking, you'll find that person. And don't try using reverse psychology, because it's not going to work. Okay, don't use reverse psychology. Genuinely care about focusing on yourself. Don't throw away an opportunity, okay, that if it's a good one, but be cautious. Don't fall easily for the person that you are with. Advance slowly. Don't jump right in and say I love you within the first week. Don't do that. Wait at least 2 months, okay? Wait at least a month or two, okay? At the very minimum, okay? At the very minimum. You are always going to be hurt. It will happen. How you handle that hurt, how you turn that pain into something better or to something worse, is up to you. But the choice is yours, really. Do you want to make it better or do you want to make it worse? Making life easier is not possible on your own. Sometimes you don't need a relationship. Friends are there for you. Man, I walked into school today after what happened last night, and every one of my friends was on my side about the whole thing. Every one of them were just there to support me, to care for me, and to love me. And I just felt so depressed. But at the same time, when they were showing affection to me, I was just like, they're right. I don't have that one special person, but I am, and that's what really matters. Having that one special person that means so much to you that you would do anything for is an amazing thing to have. And if you get that person, don't lose them. Don't lose them. But it's hard to find. Great things are hard to find. It's easy to find the women that you can compare to coal, but when you find the diamond every once in a while, that's how it is. Let me use another metaphor with the diamonds in coal. That's very important. How are diamonds formed? Diamonds are formed under they are coal that is formed under immense pressure and heat. The more pressure there is on them, beautiful. Humans are often the same way. Not with pressure, though. Let me explain. Humans, the more they've gone through, the more life experience they have with going through a certain thing, they can end up being the best people you know. Because they know what you're going through, or they know, hey, it's all right. You're not alone. And sometimes you just gotta realize that sometimes your friends are often better than the women that you want to be with, the woman you want to be with. It happens. It never won't happen. I'm gonna say it again. I've been trying to repeat that over and over again. You will never not get hurt by a woman. It is bound to happen to you eventually, and that's just life. It really is. And get through it. It's not going to be easy. It's really not. It's not as simple as just, oh yeah, well, I'm not hurt anymore. It's not. It's not about. It's not about having that one special person. It's about having the people who are close to you be there for you. That's what a relationship is. You spend so much time with this person that you develop a special connection to them that you don't have with anyone else. That's what that is. It's not a thing that you need to have. Sure, it feels great when you do have one, especially a good one, but you don't need to have it. It's like money. It feels great when you have a lot of it, but you don't need to have a lot of it. You need to have enough to get by in life. You don't need millions of dollars. You need tens of thousands. There you go. It's sad to know that we both have. It's sad to know what we have. 8 billion folks on Earth, but we are still alone. True. It's true. There are 8 billion. There are over 8 billion people on this planet. I think there's around 8.1 billion now. We are growing fast. There are over 8 billion people on this planet, and loneliness is still a problem. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Loneliness should not be a problem, but it is. And you know what? When you do find that special person that means so much to you, when you do get to spend the rest of your life with that person, you'll see how much it was really worth waiting for. Maybe you won't be in a relationship. Maybe you won't marry that person. Maybe you won't marry anyone until you're in your 20s. Good things are worth waiting for. They really are. Don't let someone take you down. What do you think about platonic love? Delve into that a little bit more. Give me a bit more of an explanation on there. Do you mean like what do you mean? I know what platonic love is, but like, explain what you mean about that. I know what platonic, I know what love means, but putting them together is kind of a weird thing. Why you look so sad? You okay? I'm fine, but just talking about this is a bit of a reflection of myself as well. It's like, oh wow, huh? I really need to take my own advice, don't I? So I'm doing fine. I will be fine. God bless. I appreciate that, Tony Carter. I really do appreciate that. God bless you too. But that's how it is. Platonic is love without any sexual stuff. Yeah. Well, platonic. No, platonic. It means not without love. Without platonic doesn't mean without sexual. It means without like platonic love. Platonic love is meaning you love that person, but not in a way you want to be in a relationship with them, like your sister, your brother, your cousin, whatever. Okay, that's what platonic love is. So, so if you are thinking about love without any sexual stuff, sex isn't needed. It's not required. It's not a thing that you need to have. It's really not. And I'm gonna be honest, I've never had a drive for that kind of a thing because of how ridiculous it is, because of how much of a waste of time it is. If you don't having a relationship purely for the stuff is it's not healthy. Unless you don't want a healthy relationship, it's not healthy. when it comes to those kinds of relationships, when they don't do anything, as long as they love each other, as long as they love each other and are there to support each other, no matter what, that's fine. You don't need sexual. You don't need sexual activities to make yourself with that person. It's not a needed. It's not a needed thing. Is it a good thing? Probably. I wouldn't know. But is it a good thing? Probably. It would be a nice thing to have with the person that you love. Probably. But the problem, things that people forget is that the reason this is what I truly believe. The reason why sex feels so good is because of a little something I like to call temptation. It is a test for us as human beings to not fall succumb to those kinds of desire as our main focus. Sorry for the loud sounds. It is a test. And a lot of people fail miserably. And that's unfortunate. It really is. But then again, what would we be without it? I think that a relationship without any of that kind of thing is healthy, but only if you do it right. I'm Irish, I know what I want. Those kinds of relationships are only healthy if you do it right. If you don't, if you just say, well, I'm not going to have sex with you, that's not healthy. I'm just being honest. That's my opinion. That's probably not healthy. But if you do it right, it could be. One of the main things about women that we have to understand is that they are confusing. Very much so. And as a person who takes zero hints, I can't take a hint. When it comes to relationships or any kind of love like that, I can't take hints. I've tried. I'm terrible at them. I can't. Like, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know if you like me or not. But what are you doing? I can't take hints unless it's blatantly obvious right in front of me. She starts stripping down in front of me. Okay, like I don't. There's no. I'm terrible when it comes to hints. In my country, people always say that you will have sex in relationships no matter what. Also, if you don't want children with that person, you're considered strange. That's not wanting to have children is a choice. But I think the real problem is when they don't want children, but they still do it anyway. Safety isn't guaranteed. It's not. They say 99.9% for a reason, and a lot of times that 0.01% can really throw you for a loop. It really can. I think that what we have to do as men, is be there. Be the person we need to be. Not the person they want us to be, but the person that they need us to be. There is a difference between wanting and needing, and wanting is a desire. Needing is for your own good, for what will happen in your future. It is for your own good. And we need to be what women need, not what they want. Now, granted, you want to be what a woman wants, do it. Go ahead. But don't make that 100% the focus. Make that like 15% the focus. Like, that shouldn't be. You need to be there for the woman to make sure that you both have a set life there, that you both something you need to have as a partner, right? Like you both need to contribute there. If you don't, you don't have a healthy relationship. You don't. As many times as heartbreak happens, you would think people would get used to it. They don't. Spoiler alert, they don't. Because no matter what, it still hurts. And always will. There will never not be a relationship that you're in where you will, well, okay. Sorry. That's sometimes you're in a relationship with someone you don't want to be in a relationship with, and they break up with you. You're like, oh, okay, bye. It's not that hard, but most of the time, if getting out of a relationship is hard, and there will never not be a time where it won't be. But like I've said over the past 20 minutes, if you focus on yourself, you can help the other person. If you focus too much on the other person, you are going to be spending so much time perfecting this masterpiece that you won't have any time to sculpt your own masterpiece. You will have spent so much time looking over someone else's that you will look back at yours and be like, oh, wait, I haven't even started yet. If you focus on yourself and you finish first, while they're in the middle of building themselves up, if you're already finished, you can show them what to do. You can help them. If you see the point I'm getting at here, the analogy I'm using, if you are if you are not mentally ready for a relationship, if you are not okay with being single, okay, I need to reword this. If you are not okay with being alone, I am terrible at wording things. You know what I'm trying to say though. If you need a person, if you need a partner to function, you need to focus on yourself a little bit before you get in any relationships, because you're gonna drag them down, and you don't want that. But the more that you've built yourself up, the more that they'll be fun. Because you're both gonna be building each other. You're both gonna be building your own sculptures at the same time. You might finish yours before. If yours is finished or almost finished, then you can go to hers and you can help her build hers up. You see what I'm getting at here? You just gotta focus on yourself to make sure that you're okay first before you get into relationships. If you are not mentally ready and okay, if you are not mentally ready or okay to be the person you want to be, then guess what? You don't have anyone. You don't. You don't. And sometimes that's just how it is. Every day, a person somewhere in the world, probably more than one, really, there's a person in the world who has committed suicide. And that's a terrible thought. To think that these people are people and they had a life and now they don't. And a lot of them are young. That's what makes it worse. And honestly, you know what? Being alone sucks. But if you have friends, if you have people that you can trust, if you have people, then you'll be fine. Yes, Neil fam, I do. I don't need rest. It's like the last thing I need right now. Voice crack. Um, every step of the way, you have people. But please don't forget this. Don't forget this, okay? Having yourself as the best version of you can possibly be will actually end up working miracles for you. And I'm telling you this right now from experience, okay? From experience. The happier you are as a person with being single, the better chances honestly you have of relationships, because if you are happy, that means that you give off that happy feeling, that happy vibe, and that person can that person can enjoy being around you. And you know what? So what? Maybe they weren't for you. Maybe they treated you terribly. But if you make yourself better, there you go. You will have already put yourself one step closer to success. If you are okay. If you are okay mentally and here as well, if you are okay, you will have a better chance at finding that person, because you will love yourself enough to love the other person. And it's not selfishness to love yourself. It's not. Now, pride pride is the line that we have to draw there. But loving yourself is important. The Christian Bible says to love thy neighbor as thyself. It tells you to love yourself. You need to be able to love yourself to love the other person. I am not tired. I'm just realizing my words that I'm saying, and I should probably take my own advice for once. And not. You need some shrooms. Oh Lord. Only shrooms I take are the Mario mushrooms, and even then, those things are wild. No, I'm just kind of realizing my own mistakes. But you know what? If you make yourself happier, oftentimes the other person will be happy as well. So that's the final point I'm going to make before I go and end the stream, is making yourself the best version of yourself you possibly can be will lead to so many better opportunities for you. And I'm not guaranteeing anything. Don't take me as a guaranteed thing. But I'm saying is that if you do that, you will raise your chances of finding that person that you want so badly. You will raise your chances pretty well. I do truly believe that. I do truly believe that. But, you know, sometimes we have to deal with things in our own way. And you know what? We'll deal with it. We all will. Love yourself, and you will find that loving the other person will be so much easier for you. If you care about yourself, if you love yourself, that person will be so much easier to be with. Sometimes I've thought, what if I was born in a better place with other people and I would have a better life? Everyone guesses that. But you weren't born with that. You can't do the what ifs. You can't. You can't go back in time and fix what you've done, or where you were born, all the things. You've been given the cards, now you got to play them. What is the context for this stream? Well, this was actually originally I had a community post. And this was one of the options. And apparently it won overwhelmingly. So, I'm here. But no, I'm being serious. The person that you love first should be yourself. That way, you can spread to other people. Make it better for them. You love Russia. I do love you guys being kooky and weird. This isn't exactly the context and time for it. Next time it will be. I'm gonna continue scrolling, but have a great day. Thank you. And I promise next time it'll be a bit more fun and uplifting. Okay. But this was one of the more serious streams I wanted to have. Just because I wanted to be able to actually interact, you know. Love yours, but that's the final point. I'm gonna go and end the stream. Love yourself, and the rest will follow suit. Love yourself, and that person that you are looking for will come to you, or they will be attracted to you. That's how you have to find the person that you want to be with. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you? I'm not sure. There's a lot of things that I've embarrassed myself on, but I don't really have much shame. Not end. No, but I have to though. As I've been told, I need to get some sleep, which is true. I probably do need to sleep. I haven't slept in so long. But I'm awake. I'm wide awake. So, hello, Bentley King. I know. I don't know the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. What in the world? I don't know the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. There's a lot of them. But thank you guys. I promise next time I will be just as kooky and weird as you all are. And I mean that in a good way. Stay weird, my friends. You're gonna need it.